There are so many indie games out there today. Just go look through the Steam store. It's an endless stream of games, and it's so easy for a game to get completely lost in the massive flood of new releases on the Steam store every day. Which brings me to this game, Steel Hail, which currently has 0 user reviews on Steam. Even on YouTube, there's only one video featuring this game, and it's not even really a review. It's just a guy who's playing it for the first 10-12 minutes or so. I wonder if I'm the only person on the planet who has actually played this game through completion, but I finished it. So the question is, does it deserve to be ignored the way it currently is, or is it kind of a hidden gem? Let's start with the basics. It's a twin-stick shooter that has you playing as a little robot going around the lava planet fighting a bunch of other robots. The entire game takes place on this lava planet, so there is 0 diversity in environments. Every single level in this game feels like you are playing in or around a volcano. That's not to say the level design is bad. I think the game does a generally good job of enemy placement, cover placement, things like that, but it can get old looking at the same environment for literally the entire game. Similarly, the soundtrack is really nothing to write home about. I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like it was just the same song playing for the entire game. It's not bad, it's kind of catchy, but it definitely does feel a bit repetitive. It had me turning off the sound and just listening to podcasts as I play. So yeah, the environments and the sound are nothing to write home about, but I could look past that if the game itself is fun. This is a twin-stick shooter that has you going through levels fighting everything in your path until you get to the exit. I have a soft spot for games like this. I feel like so many twin-stick shooters today are either single-screen arena battles and or roguelites, and I hate roguelites, but I like a good twin-stick shooter that has you going through levels, fighting a bunch of enemies, which is what drew me to this game in the first place. The control scheme is simple and responsive. Left stick moves, right stick aims, you have a dash. It's not invincible, and it does have a cooldown, but you're going to need it to avoid some of the faster attacks. You have a basic weapon and grenades. It works really well. Nothing super innovative, but it does what it needs to do. They also have a lock-on toggle. By pressing the L1 button, your character will auto-target the nearest threat. I thought this was a good feature. I generally prefer manual aim, but there are a few sections where the lock-on really helped, particularly with the bosses, but more on them later. It's an easy feature to toggle in and out of, and a welcome addition to a game like this. There are a ton of upgrades you can get. You have a large upgrade tree, and you start the game with a few credits, which I thought was cool. So you could purchase some upgrades right out of the gate, and enemies drop blue crystals everywhere. Collecting these let you buy new upgrades that run the whole gamut, from a faster regenerating shield, a faster and stronger gun, extra dash capacity, stuff like that. The rate that you could purchase these upgrades is pretty good. I felt like every level I was able to purchase at least one upgrade, so I like that. You always have the feeling of constant progression, and you're going to need to invest in these smartly, as the game does get pretty tough, but it does a great job of helping you feel more powerful. As you upgrade your mech, you really start to feel like a robotic badass with a multi-firing powerful gun and a much more resilient shield. There are also weapon pickups scattered liberally throughout these levels. Some of these things are awesome, like the rocket launcher that shoots in multiple directions and just blows up everything. The only weapon I hated was a shotgun. Generally, I love a good shotgun in a video game, but this thing has got to be the worst shotgun in the history of gaming. It's slow, it's weak, and given the fact that your default gun already has a spread, it's completely useless. Often when I pick this thing up, I would just retreat to a safe space and just shoot into a wall until I was out of ammo so I could return to my default gun. You could always avoid it though, as the pickups are clearly visible. It all starts out simple enough, but as the game progresses, it definitely does get hectic. And it's not a forgiving game. When you die, you lose any of the crystals you collected in that level, so it does force you to get good and beat these levels in one shot, and there are no mid-level checkpoints. If you need to, if you're really stuck, you could replay prior levels to farm crystals to upgrade your mech. I only need to do that one time, and that was really because I invested a bunch of money in upgrading my vacuum used to collect crystals as opposed to something more practical like my shield, so that's really on me. The levels are not too long though. Some of the later ones really do feel like bullet hell levels. Upgrading your dash becomes extremely essential to have any chance of survival. Your shield does regenerate, so you could often retreat, let your shield regenerate, and jump back into the fray. I find myself needing to do this on later levels, but a lot of the tougher enemies are stationary turrets, so they don't follow you and their bullets don't go on forever, so you can get yourself some breathing room, and there are definitely some times you're going to need it. There are a couple of bosses here. These are really tough, but really well done. They have a really long life bar, and about halfway through they increase their intensity considerably. I died a few times on most of these, but I really enjoyed fighting them. This boss here probably gave me the most trouble because I was underpowered. After collecting some upgrades and learning its pattern, I was able to take him down. So is Steel Hail worth your time? Yeah, I really think this is a hidden gem. The fact that it feels like nobody has ever played this game is kind of a shame. The twin stick shooting action is really satisfying. There are a ton of different weapons you can get as the game goes on, most of which are fun to use except for that horrible shotgun. The enemy and level design is fun and has some great boss battles. Aesthetically, it's not the greatest. Like I said earlier, the environments and soundtrack are kind of drab, but it retails for $3. I picked it up for half of that on the Steam Winter Sale. It is easily worth the full price. Give this game a chance if you love a good level-to-level twin-stick shooter. I think it's a solid pickup, and it definitely deserves more than the 0 user reviews it currently has.